All right, Pot of Gold, welcome back. Live Sunday edition. I'm Brett. I'm here with Mike Grant, the intern behind the glass. Couldn't make it in. May pop in a little bit. We're not really sure, but we needed to record a podcast, and the boys are here.
Yeah, man. Good to be here. A nice little Sunday evening, like you talked about. It's cool to kind of double up, triple up. Maybe actually, this is just the start of the week, so it's actually just singling up. But we
For
might be able to
now.
bring you another one later on this week. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, dude, week 0 blew.
Yeah, week 0 kind of sucked. Hit us up on Twitter at potofgold, at gmail.com, patreon.com/gold at gold Mike. Shout out Blue Wire Pods for paying the boys.
Absolutely. What's the name of the podcast that we were just on? SEC United?
Yes. No idea.
SEC Live United. But no, they had us on, and it was pretty cool. We represented LSU for their live SEC West breakdown. Some pretty interesting questions, though, and I think we could probably chat about that a little bit before we dive into week 0, as well as some of the latest camp updates as we lead into Florida State, which I believe was the last time the media will have access for the season. So we have not a lot to get to, but I mean, we can absolutely cover some ground here. But some of the questions were interesting that podcast talked to us about. It seems like there is still a huge emphasis, and I guess it doesn't need to be said, but I mean, like, obviously we're so caught up in the players right now. We've got past the point of the shock and awe that Brian Kelly is now at LSU, but it seems like everybody else from the outside looking in is really focused still on that topic and that subject. Even the national media for College Game Day, it's like we had to say something about family in the accent. I'm kind of ready for the Brian Kelly shouldn't be at LSU talk to get the hell out of here.
Well, I mean, it's like the only people that care about the culture thing are the people outside of the LSU Louisiana culture. Like, it's just never a topic that ever comes up when in any discussion about Brian Kelly, unless you're talking with a different fan base, with someone from a different part of the country. Like, if everyone else is just kind of excited about Brian Kelly, and that's where I'm at. Like, could this be an average season, and could it be disappointing? Like, I have high hopes going into this season. Is there a possibility that Brian Kelly doesn't realize that you can't just like sunshine pump some of these guys when they're probably possibly not going to be able to come in and be studs like you're talking them up to be? That's possible. It's possible that he doesn't understand that the media will absolutely destroy you down here if you're like Colby Richardson. Colby Dickerson is great and is a stud, and then he never ends up playing and we suck. Like, that's when the media starts will start writing bad articles or whatever they do. Like, that's when people start to turn on you, not because you're from a different part of the country.
Yeah, I don't think we even got to talk about that coach, quote unquote, that was on Jake Crane's show. I think he's gotten enough shit, so we don't need to like go pile it on. But like,
No,
those were the
it's
type
on
of
us.
questions.
That's on everyone else. Like, let this video get 1,200 fucking views on YouTube and everyone will ignore it. And instead, for some reason, like, we just decided to get our pitchforks out and destroy this guy who looks like he lives in his fucking parents' basement and writes articles about how, like, Notre Dame's going back to the Lou Holtz days. Like, give this fucking guy a break. Like, we're LSU. We're fine. We have Brian Kelly. Like, if this dude wants to go, dude, that whole clip just looks like an absolute parody. It looks like you're watching a movie where they're watching a clip from a TV show. It's like, I have this like culturally referenced like t-shirt under this flannel shirt, and like we're kicked back with a basketball goal hoop behind us because we're boys and
The set's weird.
it's like, and then you have this guy whose t-shirt's like 2X too big, and it's just like, what are we doing? Why do we have to pile on this guy? Like, just
The
let this
Michigan
moron.
guy on the show, I think he's the reason I can't watch the show. It's not Jake Crane. It's like the surrounding cast. Like, whenever his brother
I'm out
starts
on
rambling.
all. Let's just say that.
I get it. No, I get it. I understand that, but I do see Jake Crane bringing some value and some good content. It's just like they're so different. All of a sudden, like you got this Michigan guy that looks like he's just got this stretched out face, like he's from Mars or something, and he's sitting there just too proper. It's just weird, man. But like the question, to go back to it, someone says, "Am I in prison?" Yeah, dude. I got arrested today, but we still had the pod, so you're welcome. No, the question is always like, do you think Brian Kelly will be successful in the SEC? And somebody, asked us that on their podcast, and it's like, I know that's an easy, like low hanging fruit type of question, and so it's obviously when you're asking LSU fans, you're going to get the answer of excitement and optimism. But like you ask someone from Notre Dame that, like, of course this dude's going to go fucking raw. Like he does not want Brian Kelly to be successful, so he's going to go off and say that no, he's not going to win at all, and then he contradicts himself, being like, he always had the talent here. He just never coached up the big games. And then he turned around and said, well, Brian Kelly's not going to be able to recruit at LSU because he doesn't know how to get talent. It's like, all right, boss.
Pick one. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I think Brian Kelly's going to have a good chance to compete. Like, look at what he did at Notre Dame and look at all the games he lost. It was to teams you should probably lose to the Alabamas of the world, the Clemsons of the world. Like, he didn't really lose to, he lost to Cincinnati, a playoff team. He didn't lose like every weekend, week out to like this random USC in this big game. Like, Brian Kelly normally brought his guys and showed up with a good game plan to play. Was it always perfect and pretty? No. Like, they had to probably fight back and win some games. Still going back to that stupid Showtime series that they recorded like years ago. It's like they were in close games with teams that they had no business being in. It's not like Brian Kelly's going to walk into LSU and everything's going to be fixed. And like,
No.
we're never going to have a single clock management issue again. We're never going to throw a dumb pick late. Like, that shit is still football. Like, that's going to happen. It's just like, I think we're going to be so much more prepared and not like compound those mistakes like constantly, like has happened in the past.
We have an organized coach that has proven before that his system works. And it's not just walking in and getting lucky with talent or walking into a locker room that's full of studs that Nick Saban built for you. Like, there's a big difference of why we're excited now for this guy. And it has nothing to do with us and expectations of a year one turnaround. And I think that's what a lot of people think. Like, you're backing yourself in a corner now because everybody is now thinking like, oh, so you really are that excited for Brian Kelly? Like, how many wins do you think this season? And that's such a stupid question to measure how the excitement level of this new coach. It's not about that. It's about the process that he is going to instill, the organization from top down, that eventually we will be on the right track. And if you don't get a stud quarterback one season, doesn't mean that you're going 6-6 like that. We're trying to get to a point in a program where we have quality depth and that we're always in the hunt, and we don't have those massive tanking down years. I don't think that we're going to turn it around in one season, like you just said. Like, that's not the expectations here. We are so excited because we finally are going to have stability.
Do you think it's out of like the realm of possibility that LSU gets like hot? And I was watching Pate, I think it was, and they started putting up odds for like SEC champion, SEC West, and national champion. And you see LSU at like 50-1 or whatever it is to win the SEC. And then you see it being like the exact same number to win the national championship. And you're like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Like, if LSU does like start rolling, like if you win the SEC, you're most likely it's like it shouldn't be more ridiculous to win the national championship if you can get through Bama and everyone else. It's like, do you think that's out of the realm possibilities that like LSU, Jaden Daniels comes in and he is like an absolute game changer and can destroy people with his feet, and like his throwing is way better than some of the people have said or given him credit for? And like all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, we have the best wide receivers in the country and we have multiple possible like first team All-Americans on the D line. Like, is that getting,
look, man, you're backing me in a corner on week one. It's tough. It's tough for me to be realistic here and not fire up the crowd by saying that I don't think it's a possibility. I just think we're not quite there yet. I do think that if we go on a run, I think our run is going to be like that 9-10 win ceiling. I just don't think we're quite there yet to go on a championship run this season. I hope I'm wrong. 50-1. I mean, Yeah, it's definitely one of those deals where, like, if you have the balls and you have the extra cash to just fucking throw out there, like, more power to you, and that'd be exciting and awesome. I'm not in that boat. And honestly, if I'm ever going to be in that boat, it's probably like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of this week. Like, this is it. Like, if you're going to convince me of a playoff berth, it's right now.
Yeah, it's I just look at it as like the probabilities of it all. Like, is there that like 1% chance that everything happens and we end up being that team that gets that awesome transfer quarterback again? I don't, you know, like you said, I feel like there's going to be a couple losses. Alabama, I think will be. I think for the first time in a while, and you know, we can throw 2019 out. I think it'll be a fun game to watch for us because it'll be one of those like RC, you know, we've probably have a loss at that point. Like we probably drop to one of those teams. And it's just kind of like a hey, let's see how we stack up. Like this Bama team is going to be a problem. Like this is going to be a really good Bama team, and it's going to be more fun, I think, to watch us like stack up. And I think they're going to perform, probably lose, and then it's like, can you beat A&M at the end? 3 losses.
Yeah, I mean, at 3 losses, 2 losses if we're stellar. You know, like that would be playing at the highest level right now with what we got depth wise. So I don't know. Well, it's yet to be seen. I do think we're going to get the most out of our guys, though. I think what I'm a little worried about is that, and I'm putting myself in this boat, that we are getting a little too excited for Jaden Daniels, and
I
that's
agree.
what's kind of scaring me a little bit. Is like I hate it for the kid too, because like the minute he fucking rolls out and then takes it up the gut, and then
I
his little
knew it.
skinny ass fumbles the ball on a big hit, it's like here we go. You know,
Yeah.
like this kid blew the game for us. Should have been
Brian,
playing us.
Brian Kelly thought that we could get a Pac-12 quarterback. I mean,
Yeah, I
you know,
just
yeah.
you never know what's about to happen with that. So like the expectations for him as this offseason progresses and as we get close to the game, I feel like we're getting higher and higher, and it really is dependent on him. Like you said, like if Jaden Daniels goes off and becomes a dude, like we do have an opportunity. Like we are almost it's almost like the NFL. Like if you have a quality quarterback, your team is going to go as far as that quarterback can take you. Defense has to be pretty damn solid at the same time, but if you have that stud quarterback, you're going to be in the conversation. So if
You're
Jaden
never
Daniels,
out. Yeah, you're never out of
yeah,
a game with a quarterback who can score quickly. Yeah, I'm just excited to see what this LSU team looks like, man.
absolutely. Without knowing, though, that's the thing. Like, if he had some tape, if he had a full season with LSU, with these guys, like with SEC talent, it'd probably be a lot easier for me to sit back and say, yeah, dude, this is a playoff team. Like, we could go on a run. But without us actually seeing it, and the fact that, like, he's not the clear cut starter tells me, okay, he still has some shit to work on. And it's not just going to be all him winning these games. But O-line looks like they're gelling. It seems like they're starting to kind of trend more of that Will Campbell, Frazier, Dellinger, Bradford wire grouping. So
God,
yeah, I mean, look, it sounds great. I was a big Tremont Shorts guy. I feel like he's now going to be like the first one out, first one in. It looks like the benefit of having Shorts out and Wire in at tackle, and Shorts out at guard, and having Frazier slide back at the other side at tackle, and keeping Bradford at guard. Sorry, Frazier and Bradford at the guards. They like that more. So,
who
I
who
mean,
couldn't? How could
obviously,
you not, Mike?
yeah, I mean, obviously they've had plenty of time to evaluate this, so that's pretty cool to see a solid center as well. I mean, like that's been a big question mark for us, having basically a revolving door ever since our boy left, Lloyd Cushenberry.
The
It's
Kush.
finally time we're going to have a pretty solid mass of a human being right there at center, who we just have to make sure we get some quality snaps in, which I think that was kind of overblown in practice, and we're good to go. So. Good
Yeah,
stuff coming out of camp on the line.
yeah. I'm excited to watch the line, and I don't know how much we're gonna. You know, we can talk about some week 0 and Florida State Duquesne
Yeah.
in a little bit, but you know, Florida State didn't do anything on defense to wow me. I mean, they were obviously severely outmatching their opponent, but it's just like I didn't feel like there was that dominant defensive line guy that's like shit, man. Like this guy could expose us early. It's just like I'm interested to see because I feel like I've said multiple times for teams. the defensive line that we're going up against in week 1 against Florida State is going to be what, the 6th, 7th, 8th best defensive line you'll probably see this year. So it's like one of those where it's like, I get it's week 1. They already had a week 0 to prepare, but it's like you kind of better be able to bully these guys a little bit.
Well, and not only that, but like you're going against probably the best, the second best, maybe compared to Bama in practice every day that you're going to ever see
Yeah.
with Mason Smith and Ojulari and those cats, Jack Roy. I mean, they're dogs. So I think that preparation going into Florida State is going to be solid. Yeah, we can talk a little bit about Duquesne. Let's dive right into that because honestly, dude, that was pathetic. Like you look at that opponent, you didn't really get
Yeah,
much.
Florida State couldn't even cover the spread. How pathetic. That I agree.
They just we didn't see much. It was a sloppy field. They had to delay a game. There was a lot of stuff that was not in rhythm. I think Mike Norvell did a good job of making sure the guys were like still prepared to play and gave effort. It looks like they were working on a lot of things, calling timeouts with 1 second to go before half, like making sure everybody's on the same page that it's a 0-0 ball game. Like you could tell this was definitely a major practice for LSU. There was a lot of holes in that defense, and I don't want to sit back and say like, oh, we know about Florida State now because of their blowout against Duquesne. Like that's not what I'm saying. But personnel wise, the only people that really stood out to me was the running backs. Like other than that, like there was so many missed opportunities for Duquesne. They would throw the ball up, and I kept thinking to myself, look, if that's Butte, like it's done. Like that's an easy touchdown. First game of the season, wet turf, delay a game, like all that good stuff. So running backs though, they did look good.
Yeah,
but it doesn't look like anything we can't stop, you know?
Well, I'm excited to watch that test because, yeah, watching that game, my biggest takeaway was that, and the wet field could have had something to do with it, but Florida State will want to establish the run game, and they don't care which running back it is. They're going to give you a bunch of different looks. They also kind of they're it seemed like they were pretty balanced, and it wasn't like we're going to take a ton of shots. And it's like you're playing Duquesne, so you're going to take a shot here or there, but it really felt like they wanted to get their quarterback out in a little bit of space, make some quick, shorter throws. And so it's like, once again, that's just going to be an interesting test to watch our linebackers. Like you're going to see if Harold Perkins and some of these other guys, these Baskerville guys, are going to be ready to be chasing around Mississippi State receivers for 75,000 plays in a couple weeks and down the line. So I don't know. I mean, I'm very excited to get in that stadium and just see what we look like against an opponent that, in my mind, we should be able to dominate physically and athletically.
Did watching that game change anything for you? Like as far as, ooh, I think we're going to beat them by over 20 points. And now coming away from watching them, it's like, yeah, maybe Vegas is right. It might be a little closer than we think.
What I'll say is it gave me a little bit of like, I don't know, like almost like Vietnam flashbacks. And it's like thinking about like, Wisconsin just kind of like running it down our throat and then like hitting the tight end for like short passes, like all game long and daggering. Like when you watch them kind of be able to establish the line of scrimmage and they're getting 9. I get it's Duquesne. I get it. But they're getting like 9 yards a pop every time they run the ball. And you do have that sinking feeling like, fuck, like, what if we can't stop that? And we just kind of get bullied like 10 yards a pop. And the next thing you know, they're in the red zone. I think our defensive line will be fine. Like, I'm not super worried, but it did give me that, like, this is how they could. And it's like, if we don't have an answer for them running this off tackle, whatever the hell, I'm not charting the plays, whatever the hell they were doing. If we don't have an answer for that, it's like, shit, this could be a long day. I just happen to think that we'll be able to answer that.
I agree. My first take from that was like, damn, I really thought Duquesne and Florida State, like that's how shitty I thought Florida State would be, is that like it might be a closer game than 41 points, whatever the spread may be. Like I thought they would actually have a little bit of a battle because like Florida State's been hot garbage lately. And I just see no way that Norvell like he actually makes it out alive this season. But I also feel like they have some talent there, and it's sprinkled around different spots. I think that watching this game, you do see that talent at running back. You do see that cohesiveness on the O line. The offensive coordinator is the O line coach, or if the former O line coach, whatever. He's got an O line background. You can tell that they're pretty solid, not personnel wise, but just responsibilities.
On the
There
same
wasn't a lot of
page, yeah.
yeah, there wasn't a lot of sloppy penalties. The holes were being opened up because they were blocking the right directions. You didn't see the running backs going the wrong way. Like they looked like they were well coached. So it is going to be an attack from them that we will have to adjust to. I do think that they are going to get those first downs. They might even score on us with those type of plays. I think we are way more talented in the fact that we will adjust to it and we're going to shut it down. And whenever they revert to having to open up the offense and pass, like they're not going to be able to. I did not see any threats on the outside that would scare me with our defensive backs. I think their best receiver looked like he actually went out with an injury midway through. Yeah. I don't know if he ever really came back. I didn't watch the whole game.
No, that's a great. I watched the whole game. Yeah. They started subbing in people. No, that's a great point. I do think that we will still have question marks about our secondary, our DBs after this game. Like I don't think Florida State is a team that's going to really test if Sevyn Banks is legit or Bernard Converse or our boy Dickey.
Yeah.
And we won't know. We will know. I think that we will have an answer for a running attack, you know?
Absolutely. Other than that, though, dude, it looked like some nice screenplays they had. They had a couple jailbreaks that worked, but like going over the top, it just did not look like something that we were going to not be able to defend.
It seemed like you could play everything in front of you. Like they were never trying to really stretch the field from what I watched. It was very much like we're trying to get to the first down sticks, not like break anything open.
Yeah, and like you said, though, defensively, like nobody really stood out to me on their defense. It looked like they did their job. It wasn't like the defensive line completely destroyed Duquesne's O line every time. So, like, I don't think we're going to have many problems with their defense. And so it's kind of, it's one of those deals. Like, what offense are we about to see from LSU? How does that match up with this Florida State team? We don't know. We've seen a lot of tight end plays from practice. We've seen a lot of quick plays to Boutte and Neighbors, and a lot of running attack from Kane and Goodwin. So
yeah, it's very possible that LSU goes into this game with somewhat similar of what we just talked about Florida State doing and playing everything like, hey, we're just going to get these guys the ball and see what they can do. We're just going to make Daniels throw it 10, 12 yards and easy throws and then run the ball. We could and have a quarterback that can get outside the pocket and do things. Like it could be a Spider-Man meme. It's just LSU just has the horses.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see Jayden Daniels really, really cut up, dude. I want to see him move out there in the dome.
I need to see him get loose on turf. Like I'm tired of hearing what he clocked in at on the GPS. I want to see him get loose, like you said, and have it's like, hey, one-on-one with a safety, and we're not sliding. Like we're gonna try to make a little juke here and take us to the house.
Yeah,
that's what I'm excited, and everyone's standing up, and you're. And then just ready.
Well, that's the thing. Last night watching Drake May for North Carolina. It's like, okay, this guy from UNC, he's wiggling around like he's got a wide open alley right in front of him, and he's booking it for like 30, 40 yards. What is our guy gonna do? Like he's getting clocked at 20 miles per hour. And what is this miles per hour situation? Like when have we stopped with 40 times and now like everything is clocked and just like how fast they are miles per hour?
I think that, and I think it's really good what Brian Kelly's doing, but it's like the 40-yard dash doesn't do us anything. The data off the GPS on their pads and their whatever they're wearing, their monitors and stuff, give you like actual football numbers of like, hey, this dude peaked at 20 because he had a 60-yard. I don't know. I really like what they do with the data. I think it's cool. I'm not saying that I'm I
just don't have a scale. I have no way to scale it. Like I don't know what's good. Obviously that's super fast, but then it's like, oh, Besh is right there too. It's like, oh, so what's good? Like
coach's son,
like Besh is great, but like I don't think he's faster than Jayden Daniels. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. What is Nuss like 18 miles an hour? What does that translate to?
Is that really slow? you know,
Makes
who
me
knows?
miss sports science. Remember when ESPN, like, used to
Oh
care
yeah.
about sports and would talk about, like, the fulcrum of an elbow of a fastball coming in, like, 98 and the chin music? Like, that was peak sports.
Oh, just seeing like the best athletes on TV just dive into this big beanbag, like catching a football 1,000 times was great.
And you're just like, "Dad, 1,200 pounds of force." And that your dad's like, "Yeah, fuck, what
Look at
does
these
that mean?"
charts.
He's doing what we're doing now, like, knowing what does that number mean? And we're just like, "Dude, that's so much. That's a
A lot.
Chevy. That's
It's a
a
lot of
Chevy."
torque. A lot of torque. Brett Favre has a lot of torque. Yeah, no, it was good. It was fun times. But yeah, I don't know what the miles per hour is about. Apparently, it's fast, and I can't wait to see it
Wanna see
in the
it?
dome. Coming up this week, dude. It's Sunday. It's this week. Well, actually, no, it's going to be next week because the game's on a Sunday. So,
Well, it's
um,
literally a week from now. Like, we'll
week
be
from
in the
now.
stadium a week from now, just, like, screaming, watching the countdown, like, "We shouldn't have got in this early. We shouldn't have got in this early."
Yeah, we'll be strolling around. A lot of I think I have 3 or 4 pisser stickers. So, section 652, we're going to be putting out stickers everywhere.
I
Oh
mean, if
yeah,
that's
I'm
what we're gonna
doxing us.
do, yeah, let's do it. Like, I holler. Like, nothing would make me happier than to get some little pot of gold, little hollers going in that section. Like,
Absolutely. I think Grant will be in the press box, so you can holler at him.
I need you to remind me, like, on Thursday, bring up Pister stickers again because I'm gonna have to go through the garage and, like, find the envelope. And if I find it, I have like 100 of them.
Oh, then
But
we're
also,
we're
like,
set.
I'll be, tied up until we get home on Thursday.
Yes, yes. We don't. I
Um,
mean, yeah.
no, we're good. I just
No, I didn't want to do like a tip of the hat and commemorative deal if that's not your jam, dude.
no, I think we're good. I think we're all good. What Nebraska is back.
Ooh. What's with Frost? Like,
He
I mean, if you could paint a picture of what your coach was going to look like, the young hotshot coming from UCF, it's like this is going to be the guy, and he just can't get it done, man.
I've caught a little bit of the Breaking Bad itch again, like watched El Camino and the whole thing, and he looks too much like the bad guy. He looks too much like Trevor or whatever his name was.
Yeah, I mean, but he's such the guy that you want to be your bad guy. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I know. Like now
It's
that I'm picturing that bad guy from Breaking Bad in my head, the same kid from Like Mike, like whenever
yeah,
he was just an awful human being in that orphanage, I always hated that character.
Friday Night Lights.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's so weird to me that you can get UCF to a point where, like, you can go undefeated and you can't even, like, get Nebraska to, like, 500, you know? It's like, I understand that Nebraska has some, like, issues and, like, recruiting, blah, blah, blah. They're not what they used to be, like, 1,000%, but it's like, we can't get these guys to be better than Northwestern?
Dude, they can't catch a pass. They
It's
can't line up
wild.
correctly. They're just not coached well at all. Like that's what's disheartening. Is like it's not just a talent issue. Like they're not organized at all. And it's very evident. I mean, even when they play shittier teams, it's evident. But they have the Coldest Crawford, so you never know. I mean, things
Yeah,
might change up for them, dude. They have an
Trey Palmer.
incredible NIL deal.
Trey Palmer, lingering around. It's
He
just
was lingering.
it
That's
was
Trey Palmer for you, though. It's like, dude, you go up there and you're still not the dude.
it just had to, like, I just kept thinking about Nebraska fans, like, watching the second half of that game, knowing how it was gonna end. Like, there was no other way that game was ending in like a Scott Frost era Nebraska than exactly how it did.
Yeah. Overall, though, really shitty quality to week 0.
I throw
Nothing
I'm
really to be
yeah.
excited about.
Get off my lawn with week 0. Like, we don't need any of these games. Literally 0. We need 0. The high school, I'd rather ESPN fully cover high school, like, jamborees or whatever the fuck, like, is going on. Like, I think St. Aug maybe was playing, like, on a nationally televised game. Didn't watch it, but, like, let's give this weekend to, like, high school football and what football's all about. Blah, 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 giving back to America. And then let's just have the best, like, Labor Day weekend of football like you can imagine. Like, it's
Well,
just so dumb.
yeah, I mean, but all the hype, like look, Big Cat and Pardon My Take put out an awesome teaser, like welcome back to college football. It's here,
I didn't
college
watch.
game.
I'll watch
I mean,
next
it was
week.
awesome. Like all the
No, I
hype
know.
and everything was cool. But then all of a sudden it's like it's just like Mardi Gras, dude. You get all pumped up for like these stupid Metairie and Mandeville parades, and it's like you have to wait till next Tuesday for the real Mardi Gras.
It's like
Uh,
I'm out on Mardi Gras by then.
yeah, it's like let's just wait for the hype to the real event, and the real event is next weekend. So I don't know. It was cool to see football in general. Like, don't get me wrong, it was on TV. I wasn't
Yeah, but
like,
it's just like, yeah, I don't know. And I get that like none of these games are games you're like locked in on if they're in that first week, but it's just like we get to have the pony show of game day with like Herb Street at home, Corso at a 12-year-old's bat mitzvah, and like Pollock just sweating his ass off wherever game day was supposed to be. And it's just like this isn't my college football. No, thank you. I'm
no,
fine.
you're right. Did you see Desmond's picks for the
Yeah,
playoffs?
those were I mean,
Go Aggies.
throw Illinois in there while we're at it. Like, let's
Yeah.
just get wild.
Pittsburgh versus Texas A&M. It's like, okay,
Let's row
that's
the boat
interesting.
and put Minnesota in there as like the fourth Big Ten team. Why don't we, Des? I can't watch game day, dude. I'm sorry. It's just like I can't. It's not.
It's bad. It's definitely bad. It's just one of those like it's a coffee house TV show. You know, like you walk down the stairs, you brewing some coffee, making some eggs, it's on in the background. But then like you do half of your day and you go back, you're like, damn, these guys are still talking.
But it's like at minimum, can we like do the honorable thing and like record Corso's picks and like chop it up and make it all fancy with some graphics and then like just B-roll it at the end or something? Like, can we? I just
We have to. You think I
it's
think
like
that's
watching
him.
my
I think he's like,
childhood
nope.
just probably, but it's like it's like my childhood is just like it's like Winnie the I don't know, man. It's just I can't. I was gonna say it's Winnie the Pooh dying, but Winnie the Pooh I don't think ever died, so it didn't really work.
No, I think that was
He
Eeyore.
probably was clean, but I don't know. It's just like I can't like watching this old man like just not even know what fucking time zone he's in is not like my ideal Saturday morning. That's all.
Well, and then they just make fun of him the whole time too. They're just like, "What's that?" It's like,
Well,
guy,
and
like
it's
they all
like,
know
guys,
it.
Corso couldn't get it done if we were all on set together. What makes you think like earpieced in on a delay in front of a camera crew is going to like go well at all? Like the
And
fact
Reese
that he's
Davis is
like
just Satan.
he's a prick. I'm out on Reese. Yeah, Reese can
Oh yeah,
and it's like it sucks because Reese, it's like he's like the greenie of college football where he's just involved in everything. It's like, oh, you want to see the rankings? Gotta see Reese Davis. Oh, you want like the post game show? Reese right in your fucking living room. And it's just like I'm set. Like, give me someone else.
like he's so the guy that's going to be talking and like keeping the whole like family shit happening for a lot. Like it's going to be Reese Davis that keeps that shit alive. Like he'll start with this smug ass smile going into it, talking about like, can Brian Kelly and his big dick say family with the right accent? Like he's an
He
asshole.
he's definitely the type of guy that tells you exactly how much the suit he's wearing cost. Like
Yeah.
exactly. Like he knows the designer. He can tell you it was 7,800.
Yeah, he likes K State coming out of the Big 12. So it is what it is.
Good for you,
Baylor
man.
getting a lot of
Guess
hype.
what? It's gonna be Baylor and Oklahoma. So, like,
Yeah.
and Texas if we get real wild.
Yeah, if we get wild, it would be kind of wild to get Texas to kind of like shake some shit up and get everybody pumped up and excited, and then all of a sudden they get their ass kicked in whatever
You
game
know,
they go to.
yeah, I mean, I guess there's a possibility that you can have like Miami, Texas, and USC all finish like top 2-ish, 3-ish in their conference, which is pretty
Hmm.
cool. Like that's kind of
Absolutely.
that's leading into I feel like expanding the playoffs gonna fuck college football. Like Pate's whatever rant on that was like so spot on that he did again this week. But like that's
I
what's
haven't
gonna
seen it.
make it's really good. You should go watch. It's just pretty much like why expansion like is not good for football. And it's like, yeah, no one's gonna care that you like eked into the playoff at the 12 spot once like 5 years after Bama just like Bama and you for it's just pretty much that's it. But like that's like we're kind of gonna start rolling into this new age of possible playoff expansion, and it's like, yeah, you know what? It will be kind of cool if like all of these teams are just in it at the end, like battling for the Iron Throne.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it'd be pretty cool. Bring not some parity because it's just gonna those guys are gonna get their ass kicked still. But it
College
is,
football will always be consolidated at the top. It's just the Third Reich, like the Nazi like full leader is in effect right now in Tuscaloosa. That's the only difference.
yeah. And that's what's kind of it's all chalk, man. Like you look at, hey, what's your predictions for the national championship? It's like, well,
Ohio State.
unfortunately, it's going to be one of those three. Ohio State, Bama,
If you
Georgia.
Well, if you want to get wild, throw Clemson in. Like if you want to get edgy, you
Right.
say you pick Clemson as being
Yeah, that dumpster fire over there in,
10
in,
and
in
2.
Clemson. Yeah. We'll
um,
see. Who knows? I think the ACC, it'd be cool for Miami to be better and North
yeah,
Carolina State to keep getting better, UNC to get better, to
Florida
challenge
State.
Clemson.
Florida
Yeah.
State. Yeah, the thought of like a 12-team playoff that has Miami, Florida State, Florida, LSU, USC, Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama, Auburn, or
Auburn,
whatever,
Florida. Yeah.
Georgia, Florida. Like that just kind of sounds pretty cool. Like as much as like it devalues everything like going on in college football and blah blah blah, like Alabama's still going to win or the top is going to win.
You
It
just
just
never know, though. You never know. Like Bama could slip up to one of those quote unquote elite teams
Yeah, 12
if they had a
gauge.
chance. Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott and I'm blanking on 12
14.
Gauge's name. What was his name?
Cordell.
Cardell.
I thought you'd have the last one.
I thought I would
Jones, I
too.
think, right?
Cardell Jones. Cardell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came in third stringer
I just
after.
Yeah, a real rocky road to get to the point to like I just wanted to remind everyone that there was an article that came out about how he beat a kid in a children's hospital in NCAA like 73 to nothing. And he quote tweeted it and was like, that's incorrect. It was 73 to nothing at the end of the third quarter. I beat him 93. And it was like an honest tweet of like, he was like, I actually beat him like 88 nothing, whatever the score was. It's just like an all time like internet moment from like before going viral really like meant going viral.
Yeah, I mean, just Cardell Jones is the definition of what it means to have depth at a good program. Like Braxton Miller goes down, and then you've got the other cat, and then all of a sudden, like the third stringer comes in the national championship. It's like, oh shit, like this dude's slinging it around like Jamarcus Russell. Like I don't know, it's just awesome to see. Not awesome. Urban Meyer developed a really cool program up at Ohio State, and they've
You loved to see it, didn't you?
I like to see when the blue bloods are good. I just don't like to see when only like two of them are good.
It did.
Like
Yeah. You reminded me a couple days ago, one of our good podcast friends, guy who DMs the show a bunch. He like drunk text or DM'd me at like midnight, 12:30, like, if it doesn't work with Kelly in a year, what do you think about Urban Meyer? And I was like, bro, go to bed. Like, go to bed, bro. Like, I can't have this conversation with you because that's not like
in
we're
a
not
year.
doing that. Yeah, it was like a year or two. I don't have my phone to pull up the tweet. It was one of those where I was like not asleep and probably, I don't know, probably playing Xbox or whatever. And it's just one of those that like gave me such a laugh when I read it because it was just the most unexpected thing to see it like midnight on a Wednesday. Of like, what do you think about getting Urban Meyer back in the building?
That's what happens
when
you're famous, man.
I loved it.
Yeah, the Urban train has left the building. I was on it last year.
I would have
And
been
then
down. I would have fucking been down.
Yeah, then he got his ass, he got grinded on, and he turned into like the worst human in the world. And
He's gonna be on the freaking Fox pregame show, Mike.
Yeah.
Like,
so I mean, I think we ended up well with Brian Kelly. It is what it is. But I think he did a great job at Ohio State. I like when the Bloods are back, and it's better for college football when teams like USC and Miami. I don't want to say Texas because they're right next door to us now, and like I just hate that they're getting like fucking 5 stars from Westgate, but I guess that's just the nature of the beast. Because if it wasn't them, then Bama would get that cat, or A&M would get that cat. If the kids want to go out of state and they have an eye for that, like someone's going to get them. I just don't like it being Texas. But college football is better when those teams are performing and have a chance to knock off the top spot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, fuck, I very much enjoy watching Texas lose. Like, it's like watching the Yankees lose or whatever. Like, it's like, oh, I like to see them go down. But I just think it like for purely entertainment purposes, take our LSU hats off and just think about like entertainment watching football. I just think like an all-out duel with these like historic programs of Ohio State, Michigan, everybody else, like dueling it out at the end, just
I
it
think it'd be
it
awesome.
it saves it a little bit. Like I think we should go back to 2. Like I'm a BCS believer. Let's let math decide it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that an all-out playoff at the end with the big dogs would be pretty awesome.
And
It
let
would kind of
Boise and like, Northwest like let the little guy have a shot for once.
right, but I mean, like you're going to be dominated with the top 10, and you're going to be like, this is awesome. Like you get to see like what bowl games used to be, and now like those matchups matter again. And it's not just the four in those playoffs that matter. The Sugar Bowl actually matters this year between 12 and 7.
Yeah.
Like it'd be kind of tight to watch.
Make bowls
Not 12
great
and
again.
7, whatever that math is going to be, but
Yeah, it's fine.
it's
We're
fine.
that's Grant's not here. What can we do? We can't do anything.
Austin Primo says, I missed the Jersey Countdown series. Hopefully it's back for a segment. This would be it then. I mean, like this would be the segment, right? Unless we do
I'm
another one later this week and
I'm
we've got like a
thinking of someone who struck a Heisman pose. I'm thinking of someone who battled through Katrina. I'm thinking of
Tyrann Mathieu.
no running back. Um,
Leonard
he
Fournette. Yeah.
oh him, yeah.
3 points for Mike.
What was his number? There you go, Austin. We did your Jersey Countdown preview. I appreciate that you enjoyed it. You were, I think, one of there are a dozen of us this weekend. A little
Dude, you
ref-
gave yourself a bad rap for that. I think a lot of people enjoyed it. It was your idea. You didn't enjoy it.
I didn't enjoy it. That
That
is
was the
very
problem.
true. I didn't enjoy it, and I like sucked all the energy out of the room for everyone else. I think that might be true. That could possibly be what happened. But hey, next off season we'll come up with something else even dumber to do that might be fun for a couple weeks, and then we'll just like leave it.
That's what we do. But we are here. Like this is week 0. So like I think the Jersey Countdown stuff was just to like get us through those days of like, God damn, we've got 87 days left and there's nothing else to do. Here we are with like 7,
Barely
6, whatever.
golf on.
Yeah, there's nothing on. Speaking of golf, took a little trip to Pinehurst today.
I know, I'm so jelly. So I mean, I'm sure most people know, but in a couple weeks, like I'm flying up there, and me and Mike are gonna go rat the streets of Pinehurst and a few other of the courses down there for a nice bro down weekend. So I'm very jealous that you like got the layout of the pro shop.
Well, like you said, dude, I had to get the recons. I had to go in
A
and
reconnoiter.
yeah, I had to just get the lay of the land and just really see where we're going to be chopping it up. Chill vibes out there today. Weather was beautiful. The guys were putting and then sucking down cigars and hitting the whiskey glasses. Beautiful environment. Just literally just strolled right in. Bought a bucket hat at the pro shop. 1 second.
It's unbelievable. Mike was like messing with his background the whole time to fit the bucket hat, and then he changed hats right before we went live.
This camera fucks with me.
It is, yeah. The mirror effect it's impossible to get down.
Oh shit! I got to change. I might have to change this background because it looks like I don't have a hat on. But look, I got the Pinehurst bucket. I got a ball today, but it's all in preparation for the guys' weekend. I can't wait.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we need to? I feel like there's probably some LSU stuff out there on the bone.
Yeah.
Like I know we're gonna do a before Florida State preview pod, whatever. Hopefully, planning to do that Thursday before you leave. So, but I don't know. I just feel like there's something on the bone.
I mean, dude, there's
get
been
hyped about LSU.
So yeah, I know that the media has had a lot of access for this fall camp, and
yes, we
according
have.
to Jacques and according to a lot of the other mainstream guys, this is the most access that they have had since like Donardo.
Definitely the most access we've had since Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, for us, me and you, but it's pretty cool to watch and kind of decipher and kind of make these stories up. To be honest with you, like. It's pretty fun to watch, but also like seeking clarification on what seeking validation on what you're observing through these practices. Like hey, Major Burns looks good. And then you ask Brian Polian, and he's like, yeah, dude, like if everybody could be Major Burns, like we'd have a hell of a football team. This kid is always smiling, laughing, and he's a stud.
Which just kind of gave me a smile because it's like this is the guy, and I understand that like it's hard to understand culture fits of like players and how they're going to be when you're recruiting them and everything. But it's like this is a guy that Ed Orgeron had like hook, line, sinker, and then that's decided like, well, there's bigger fish to fry. I think I can get a bigger name. Goes out like kind of pretty much takes Major Burns' scholarship away,
Yeah.
and Burns, what was it, A&M, right?
Georgia.
Georgia, that's right. Went to Georgia and then ends up coming back to LSU, and it's like, oh, cool. Like this guy is like the epitome, like the definition of what you want, like leading your room. And it's like we had him and threw him away because we were
Yeah, instead
Stargates.
we wanted tolls from Maryland or something.
Yeah,
It's
like
like
great job.
we had our dude from Baton Rouge, and all of a sudden, like Kirby's like, I'll take him. Like
It's
this
like,
cat's
well, yeah.
pretty good. But no, it's cool. It's cool to see him back. It's cool to see, that Louisiana native in the background as a leader and starting to really like be vocal and start that leadership trend on the team with a lot of transfers coming in fighting for his job, and he was able to kind of ward them off with Ward, Jay Ward, and Major Burns kind of holding down that safety position, because you got Fouché transferring in, who was a dog at Arkansas. He thought he was going to come in and be the guy immediately, and he had to battle. I love that, though. I love that competition really made guys like Major Burns and Jay Ward say, no, 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 like we're dogs too, and we're going to hold down the fort at safety. You're going to see Fouché, you're going to see Greg Brooks, but it's really cool to see our original guys at safety really holding it down in the background. They're saying Richardson, or Dickerson, sorry.
Yeah, Dickey.
Yeah, little Dickey is holding it down, 22 on the outside. Anxious to see if that hype is real. Like you said, is Brian Kelly just kind of rolling with the media and being like, who gives a fuck if I'm wrong? Like, I don't know.
Literally, like 2 nights ago, I'm sitting in bed, like, what if this fucking guy just like thinks that he can say whatever he wants? And like he's not gonna get like fact check, not even like fact check. We're not talking about like CNN or Trump or anything, but like
He'll be
he
murdered in the media.
just feels like he can gunsling and like get the boys hyped up and like not have to worry about expectations. I don't think that's what's happening, but I just had that little bit of like, what if? Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of what ifs with Brian Kelly right now, and we're always on the positive side because he hasn't done anything to make us negative yet. So benefit to him, but there is some what ifs.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, he's not jogging with his shirt off or anything like that.
I'm kind of pissed we don't see Emory week 1. I'm kind of pissed.
It sucks. It's for
it's still a waiting game,
right? It's still a waiting game, but he feels like there could be somebody else that steps up and takes that job, but he feels like a Reggie Bush type for LSU in the fact of like if he gets the ball and he gets a little bit of space, you don't know what's going to happen. And it just like from what I can tell, it's like Ken Goodwin and Noah Kane make like awesome runs. Will they be able to truck stick safeties and get around guys? Sure. Emory just has that little bit of like electricity in there where it's like, well, all you had to do is show me one time at that Bama game, and like I will ride that until
he's got that
out of
year.
the NFL.
He's got that extra gear that I don't know if the other two have. I think Goodwin might. We just haven't really seen that just yet. I mean, like Clyde didn't have that extra gear. He had everything else. I think Emory has that extra gear. It's just he does too much at times to get there, and he hasn't had a ton of opportunity, but like we're waiting to see this cat in a good offense where he can get an open field and kick it up to that high gear, because dude, we've got a lot of animals that can do that. So it'd be fun to see that at the running back position really secured.
Well, and Emory's a guy who, like, you may not have wanted to say it out loud or say it on the podcast, but you're like, this guy could end up being second team, third team, honorable mention, like all SEC type guy for running back because he has that potential. I mean, once again, the number one running back coming out of high school that everyone in the country wanted, was going to go to Georgia, came to LSU. It's
Yep.
like, it's not like we have high hopes for this kid because we saw him play at Covington like a couple years ago and thought he was good. It's just like this dude, everyone in the country thought this guy was good, and we just haven't had the opportunity to see it that often.
It is refreshing to know that Noah Kane and Armani Goodwin have absolutely stepped up.
Yeah.
In Williams, is it Jonathan or Josh? I think it might be Josh.
I think it's
But the
Josh.
walk on that got a
They
scholarship,
will.
27. This is a guy that's been with the program for a while. He's earned a
Feels like
spot.
forever.
And yeah, and he's always a guy that they depend on and call out as like, no, the dude's a stud. Like he'll get in the rotation. And like I think as fans, like we need to realize like this dude is actually in the rotation and stop worrying that he was at one time a walk on. Like he's a pretty good running back. But I think you've got the other two guys with Kane and Goodwin that are going to make some good plays, slow and steady plays, like durable backs that are going to get positive yardage.
Chain
And
movers.
exactly. They're going to move the chains. And dude, every now and then you're going to see that ball tucked and pulled, and Jaden Daniels is going to get on the move. Like that's what I'm waiting to see. Part of the offense consistently.
Yeah.
Are they going to open that up immediately? I don't know. I don't see why not.
I think if Jaden Daniels is your guy, then like the RPO is like your offense. I'm not saying we're not going to throw the ball to Booty and all this, but yeah, like I think it's going to be he's going to pull it multiple times. So
I'm just daydreaming of like what could happen, what could be.
Yeah.
I'm just, we're ticking down now where we're about to see it. I'm excited as hell, dude. Hopefully we can get to record one more time before it all goes down. I know you have a little bit of a journey ahead of you, a little bit of a family sitch. Prayers to you and the fam. I know some of them are listening. Tough times.
Listening live.
Yeah, well, tough times, and we're all praying for you. But hopefully, we can have a fun time whenever you get back. I'll be flying in, and it'll be a good, refreshing end to a little bit of a grieving process, and we can celebrate, man. So, looking forward to that for sure.
I'm just excited. I mean, like college football is just the best. And like we get to go to a big primetime game that like we think we're going to do really well in the Superdome to start the season, and we get to do it together and hopefully pod about it after. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'd like to get a pod in Thursday to just kind of hype train it. We can do what we did against UCLA and like scream into our phones for like 30.
Yeah, it'd be exciting. And like I said, guys, we'll probably be around the 650 up in the terrace level. So if you see the boys, come say hey. Love to holler.
Once again, I can't, dude. It's like impossible. The jersey.
It's tough.
Most likely wearing the Burrow jersey right here. So if you see someone in a LSU basketball jersey, it's the boys.
It's us. It's us. I was thinking about the money bucket hat, but I don't know if your brother does come with us. I don't know if I can pull that out. Have you talked to him? Is he possibly coming?
I need to text him. I haven't. There's been, dude. It's been.
I know. It wouldn't be the first topic of conversation.
Yeah, it's more planning flights and all that other stuff. But yeah, I mean, dude. I mean, I'm sure he's. What is he doing? He's gonna want to come to the game. So I'll text him.
Well, I know you. Oh shoot! Did I? No, I accidentally hit something. I think we're good. No, but I think we should probably. Did I end something?
No, I don't think so.
No, I know. I know it's tough finding time to get in here, so I appreciate you taking that time. And then for the fans that are listening, like it's awesome. It's a Sunday afternoon. I know this wasn't like jam packed with facts, but it was fun to get in here and talk a little bit about the week and the weekend and how we're feeling going into week one, dude. It's here.
Yeah, Ohio. We get to, and like next time we get to talk about like Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Oregon, Georgia, and not just like what Jacques Doucet had on his Instagram yesterday, like the tight end catching the ball. So
yeah, it's enough about Mason Taylor, dude. I'm ready to see him actually score a touchdown.
Another one. It's like, dude, this guy better be fucking awesome, Brian. Like
he's amazing.
Like, let's not this dude. If this dude takes a red shirt, I might riot. But like,
last thing. So whenever we were talking to that podcast, and they were like, "Who are a couple names that we don't know now that we might know?" Like a second, I was about to say Mason Taylor, but I was like,
Too risky.
I don't know yet. I don't know. Like, if you're buying the hype of like camp hype, it's
Yeah.
Mason Taylor. But let's just stick with Malik Neighbors and the other Mason, Mason Smith.
It is weird, like, it just feels like any magazine, any website, any grade, any, like, PFF, whatever, like, website I look at, Mason Smith is just like a ghost,
Yeah, he's
and
not
it's just
there.
like,
We're not
this
there.
this guy is literally gonna be one of the most dominant, like, defensive linemen in the country this year as a sophomore, so, like, get ready for it, guys.
We are nowhere to be found. Like, our team in general is nowhere to be found.
Well, but it's like Roy is, like, getting love and, like, Ojulari and Ali Gay and all this stuff, and it's like, you guys not watching the film to see, like, what this guy's doing next to these dudes? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And here's the deal, man. I like being the underdog. That's
Yeah.
really fun. You know, what are we doing here? Part of me wants to watch live, the other wants something to watch on the drive to work. Okay.
Well, and if you're driving to work, maybe let's just listen?
Right, man. You don't
You
want to
can
be
watch, I
watching
don't
this on
care.
the road.
Just, yeah,
That's how I
make
ended up
sure
in prison, man.
yeah, make sure you're on auto download, but, like, I don't care. If you wanna watch it on your ride in, that's fine. Just auto download that shit.
We appreciate
Um
all the support, Raw Bone.
Yeah. Rate and review, do all that shit on iTunes and Spotify and all that stuff. Helps the boys out, helps other people. Tell your friend, tell your
Yeah,
buddy.
spam tiger droppings.
Spam tiger droppings. Yeah,
It's
whatever.
that time of the year.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if other places are gonna get their people to do it, fuck it. Why don't we do it with
Mhm.
ours? But yeah, man, I'm fun. I'm excited. I really hope we can get together at the end of this week and just kind of like gush about how excited we are to do nothing on a probably like beautiful weathered weekend where you could play golf or like spend time with the family, go on a picnic, maybe hit brunch up. And instead you're just gonna be like, babe, Georgia,
You've had all summer to do that. You've
yeah,
had all
like
summer, no excuse.
the chances of repeating starts now.
Yes.
And like Bo
Yes.
Nix is on. So babe, like
We got
sorry.
bets to put in, we got money to lose. Like, this is a big day ahead
Yeah.
of us. And then we get to do it again tomorrow.
Exactly, exactly. It's like then we get to go to New Orleans and hang out and like, yeah, we get to have a stress-free Saturday of just enjoying like the top teams in the country, like fighting it out. And we're just like, oh, we're good.
Nailing
Future
some
us.
parlays.
That's all I got. I'm ready to go eat.
Same here, man. Have a good evening. Over and out, boys.